Hello, this is the Court of the Seven-Headed Serpent army video. We don't have any sub-warband here, only scenes you can align with, and this one already makes this warband a little bit more unique than the others. And for units, you need to have the Praetor or the Sorcerer as warband leader, but you can still have the other unit in the warband. You can have 3 Hell Knight and 1 Hunter as elite choice. And regular units you can have Wretched, Pit Locust, Yokefend and Desecrated Saint. And for mercenary choice we have the Goetic Warlock, the Scripture Guardian, the Sin-Eater and the Trench Dog / Hellhound, which is a special equipment type extra unit. So what makes this warband unique is that, as I mentioned, you need to pick a scene that your warband is aligned with or dedicated to. And these scenes a little bit modifying your warband a bit further, how they operate. Also, your elite units can have Goetic powers and abilities like spells. And these can be also very powerful in a lot of situations, but it's also limited in a way that there is a pool of spells you can choose from when you get the unit. And one of the generic spells is the Burning Inferno, which can be only used by the Sorcerer. And this gives you a long range ignore armor shooting ability, let's say, as throwing a fireball on the enemy. And the Slave Master lets any of your elite unit to make an extra free action on your Yokefend, which is within 18 inch of your spellcaster. And what needs to be keep in mind for the spells, that only a unit can use it, which has the spell as first. Second, you need to have enough blood marker to cast the spell. And the blood marker cannot be used from any unit which has the demonic or black grail keyword. So it can be your own unit or enemy unit, but without black grail or demonic keyword. So what are the specific scenes doing for your warband? The Wrath, for example, lets you to give any of your elite unit, maximum 3 of them, the Blind Rage ability, which is adding +1 dice for your dash actions. Or the Charge of Hatred, again elite limit free, and in that case you don't have to measure or do any dice roll for the charge, you move the maximum 12 inch. So it's technically a guaranteed charge. Or the Lesser Mark of Cain, which is giving -1 injury dice on the model. So what this scene does, it makes your warband more focused on melee combat. The enemy has the following abilities. For Praetor and Sorcerer, first the coveted position, which is letting these units to swap position with any target within 12 inch. So it's very good for setting up surprise ambushes, let's say. The enemy assigns letting you to choose one new Antioch, Trench Pilgrim or Iron Sultanate battle kit, but with the limitations on the equipment. What is yours is mine, it's for every elite, and this one lets to remove 1 blood marker or blessing marker from the target and put it on your spellcaster unit. The last warband has the Call of the Flesh, and this one means that the next unit your opponent activates needs to make a move, charge or retreat action towards the spellcaster, and if that makes it goes through difficult or dangerous terrain, the negative effects also apply. With the Exquisite Pain, you select a target, make the roll, and if it's successful, you simply place a blood marker next to it. And with the Forbidden Pleasures, before the game starts, as many units has this ability, you select the same amount of unit in your warband without the demonic keyword and you place 3 blood markers on them. With the Pride you have the Light of Samael, and with that you choose an enemy model within 24 inch of the spellcaster and in line of sight. You make an injury roll, and if the model is on the 32mm or smaller base, it's also pushing the unit back with the 6 inch, so it can be also very useful. The Proud of Defiance, so you simply ignore the morale checks with your warband if you have at least 1 unit alive with this ability. And Too Proud to Fall, With that you can simply ignore the down result of an injury roll, but it still makes your unit suffer, for example, blood markers or losing the tough keyword. In slot you have the Charm of Acedia, and with that, for 1 blood marker, you can make any roll or risky roll as an automatic success without taking the roll. With the Daemonium Meridianum, you can simply cover the 6-inch area around the model as difficult terrain as a plus, and as it's described, if the area around the model is open or dangerous terrain, it gains the difficult terrain as an extra. So it makes very difficult to go into melee with that unit overall. And the Morpheum Mind is simply not letting your opponent use more than 1 blood marker against the unit with that ability. In Gluttony, you have the Belly of the Beast, which is kind of like a reflect ability, as if your unit receiving a blood marker, simply your attacker also receiving a blood marker in melee combat. So it's very good to kind of punish your opponent for attacking you. The Eater of the Flesh is letting you to remove as much blood marker as you made on the enemy model, except if the model is a Black Grail or Demonic keyword unit. So it's very good to kind of clean out your unit, as if you make 5 blood marker, you remove on your unit 5 blood marker. So this can be very useful. And the Uncaring Gluttony is letting you to pick 1 enemy equipment on 1 unit. So equipment as equipment, not a weapon or whatsoever. And that equipment cannot be used, as imagine it if it's consumable or deployable, that it's already used. So it's like letting you to mess up your opponent's unused equipment for the rest of the game. And the Greed, you have the Black Heart, which is giving you +1 dice on the risky rolls. The Body of Gold is giving your unit the Golem keyword, but in that case you lose the Tough keyword. Again, it makes your unit more harder to kill. And the Greedy Heart is, after both sides deploy the units, you place 1 blessing marker next to the unit with this ability for each unit which is worth more than 150 ducat or more. So these were the sins, and after you decided which sin, you can upgrade your units with those extras. But what are the units? As I mentioned, you can decide between 2 units as your Warband leader, and the first one is the Praetor, which is flying, and that already makes it very good. It has +3/+3, and it can have 2 Goetic power, but if you have the sin as rough, you can only have 1. So it's a very strong shooting and melee unit in 1. The Sorcerer, it has +1/+1, it can have 3 ability, and as an extra it has the Blessing of the Serpent Moon built in, and this is giving you -1 injury modifier against the Sorcerer, so it makes your Sorcerer more likely to survive a specific attack, but this is a very costly spell. The Hunter, it has the bow in the left hand all the time, so you have only 1 remaining empty hand that you can use, and it has a few other built-in ability. For example, the left hand path, which is kind of a teleport that you can use anywhere on the map, so it makes your Hunter very agile and very flexible to solve situations. The Oracle Beast Cloak is nullifying 1 injury roll result against the Hunter, which is also very useful, as let's say your Hunter would die and you just simply say nope, but that's cost 3 blood markers, so it's not cheap. And the Shadow Walker lets you to walk out of melee range for free, or let's say lets you to retreat, but the enemy cannot do any attack. And the bow itself is very good, as it has assault keyword, and when you successfully hit the enemy, you can decide if you have +2 injury dice or ignore armor on the roll. The Hell Knights are +0/+2, and they have the built-in infernal armor, which cannot be removed, but this is a quite good armor, so about it a bit later. And they can have 2 power or spell, and one of them must be the blood magic, so technically they can have 1 extra. And the blood magic for 1 blood marker is giving you +1 injury dice on the injury rolls. The Wretched is your basic unit, and this one is mainly used to generate your blood markers for the spells, but as a very funny twist, they have the Law of Hell ability, which is if in any case they accidentally kill an enemy elite unit, they are free and they are removed from the Warband list, so they are kind of like, you can go now. You can do whatever you want, you are free. And I think it's fucking hilarious. Most likely it's never going to happen, but still low chance. The Yokefend is the unit that's usually farming your blood marker on the Wretched, and they have the Hateful ability, which makes them to charge on any enemy unit within 12 inch if they are not black rare or demonic. So this can a little bit screw up your positioning or planning, but you just need to be careful with that and that's it. And they can have a weapon which is cheaper than 30 ducat, a ranged weapon. And the Torturer ability lets you to hit your friendly unit, which is the Wretched usually. The Pit Locust is another fast flying unit you can have, and they are very good in melee, as they also attack twice with Shrapnel keyword. But they cannot have any equipment other than the Crown of Hellfire. And last, the Desecrated Saint is only melee, it has free arm, and with the Annihilator ability you can attack with each melee weapon you have, and it has a specific aura which is different based on which scene you are aligned with. So for each, let's say, scene or each warband, the Saint is working differently. As for equipment, this warband is more limited than the others, but it's coming from the fact that the court is more focusing on the abilities and spells. And as for ranged weapons, the specific ones are the Arquebus, the Ophidian Rifle, and the Serpent Assault Gun. And the Arquebus is simply a two-handed melee weapon at the same time, so nothing extra in that. And the Ophidian Rifle is kinda reversing your cover and long range penalty. So instead of a penalty, it's a bonus, as if the target is in cover and in long range, instead of -2 dice in total, it's +2 dice. So against Ophidian Rifle, the best way to combat is to simply go into melee or short range. And the Serpent Assault Gun is kind of like an SMG-ish stuff, but for 36 inch with gas keyword. For melee weapons there is the Head Taker, the Hellblade, the Malbrank Sword and the Torture Instrument as a unique one. And the Head Taker is simply adding +2 injury modifier on the injury roll if the target is not activated in that actual turn yet. The Hellblade is adding +1 injury dice and fire keyword for the attack. And the Malbrank Sword is simply deadly, and this was the old 3d6 injury roll, so that's a very brutal sword in short. And the Torture Instrument is simply doubling your blood markers you make with the attack, and this one is mostly useful on the Yokefend when you want to make blood markers on the Wretched. For grenade there is no unique one, so the regular gas grenade and incendiary grenade. As for shields, also only the trench shield is available. For armor there is the unique infernal armor I mentioned, and the infernal armor is, other than giving the -2 injury modifier, simply ignoring the ignore armor attacks. So it doesn't matter if the enemy's weapon having the ignore armor, it's still giving the -2. And for equipment there is the Crown of Hellfire and the Restraining Muzzle as an extra. And the Crown of Hellfire is an edited Pit Locust only, and if the unit is going into melee, because technically you need to be within 1 inch of the enemy units, in that case all the unit that is within 1 inch suffering 1 blood marker due to the fire from the crown. And the Restraining Muzzle is for the Yokefend, and they are adding +1 dice for the ranged attack and ignoring the Hateful ability, so they are not charging mindlessly against targets within 12 inch. As for the glory items, there is some that is similar to the other warbands, such as the Knighthood, Rocket Propel Grenade and Trench Dog. Here only important for the Trench Dog that you have the specific Hellhound dog upgrade you can choose, and the Knighthood doing the same extra glory generation, the RPG is the same, the Battlefield title increasing the availability or limit number by 1 on a specified equipment you choose. The Bestial Skin Cloak is letting you to modify each turn one of your rolls by +1 based on the list, but this one cannot be combined with the Oracle Beast Cloak of the Hunter. And the Coractor, the Great Tome of Hell, can be purchased as an additional one, and it simply allow you to ignore a limit or stipulation on a power or ability. The lordship of this word is simply letting you to move a play's terrain before the game starts, so you can a little bit screw up the maybe perfect terrain deployment for your opponent, or make yourself a more advantageous one. The piece of silver is giving you 3d6, so 3 dice in total on the result of 6, and you can use them anytime during the game for any dice result roll, except injury roll and bloodbath. So you can technically make hit rolls, dash or climbs or jumps more likely to succeed or go critical. And even though the restraining muzzle is here too, I'm not sure if it's a mistake or not, because here it's a glory item and on the normal list, normal ducat item. So this was the equipment and glory item list for the court. As for campaign promotions, it's kind of limited, as only the Desecrated Saint and Pit Locust can be promoted as main candidate, let's say. Neither the Yokefend or the Wretched can be promoted, so you can promote only 2 type of unit. You can see if it's okay for you or not, otherwise the other options you can do is only the mercenaries. So it's very limited here what you can do regarding promotions overall. So this is the court, and this is definitely the elite warband of Trench Crusade, as they are very expensive, so you have a less unit compared to your opponent, and because of that the positioning is very important for you. Also, if you lose unit, is very painful for you as well, but very fortunate for your opponent. And the scenes itself, it's an interesting twist in the usual sub-warband rule that is just only free ability or spell, but still makes the warband works quite differently compared to the other scenes. So it's a very interesting twist in the usual rule we are used to, let's say. If you choose the core, just keep in mind that the units are very expensive, so you will not have that many units. And my favorite rule of them, let's say, is still the Wretched with the let them be free if they kill an elite unit. I think that's just hilarious. If you tried court, which is your favorite scene and why, just give some example why that is the favorite for you, because I think it's very different and interesting compared to every other sub-warband in every warband. Thank you for the attention, and please give us the examples or feedback, because I'm especially interested to know the feedback or the opinion of the people. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.